Hey guys, what's going on? This is Eric Garcia for AOC2, term 1407. In this video, I'm going to give you a brief overview of our Project 3. It's a very simple event planning application. As you can see here, it's a two-screen application. Let's jump into the simulator. I'll show you it functioning, and then I'll give you a brief overview of the code. When you first launch the app, you just get a simple text view with, nothing's been created just yet. Click the Add Event button to add an event. But before we get there, something I am going to change probably before I submit it is this text field is currently editable, but I wouldn't want the people to edit the events from this screen. But if you do, the requirement was to shrink the text view per the size of the keyboard, which I shrunk the text view as well as pushed up that button so you still have access to get to it. Something I did outside of the requirements is if you touch anywhere outside of the editable text or the button, that text view will or the keyboard will actually dismiss, and then you can go ahead and add an event from here, and we'll go ahead and call this whatever, Project 3, and then you have this as the requirement as a close keyboard button. I'm going to actually hide it when the keyboard's not there and show it when the keyboard shows up. That was extra from the requirement. Also, all extra from the requirement, if you want to just go ahead and click the Done button from the keyboard, that will also dismiss the keyboard, as well as, again, with anywhere touching on the screen outside of a text field, it will also dismiss the keyboard. Then you can go ahead and select a date and time of the event, which will not let you select a past date. It'll go ahead and default to the current date and time. So let's go ahead and set just anything we can remember for Friday. Let's call it Friday 11th at 12 a.m. so we can remember that, and we'll go ahead and save that event, and it replaces the text in your text view for event in the Project 3, which is July 25th, 2014 at 12 a.m. is what we selected. And then if you go ahead and add a second one, our discussion will be due tomorrow. Actually, I should have done that instead of that. And we'll just go ahead and leave it at the defaults there, tomorrow at 11:51 p.m. You save that and it goes ahead and appends to the code there. Jumping into the code, you have the main view controller, which just has some variables for the frame of the text view and the button to change that as the keyboard appears, and then as well as some date and strings to push that through. Going in the view did load, I went ahead and set a tag for the event text view to see if it's the default text or not, and we increment through it, and I'll show you that in a second. And then that is capturing the center for the text view to the original frame. And then here you have all the keyboard handlers, which when the keyboard will show, this is basically getting the frame of it and pushing up the text view, as well as the button. And then when it hides, it goes ahead and resets it to the original frame. And then I actually created a individual delegate header with a required method that passes the name and date back from the add event to the original, which is what you see here, the GM add event delegate. And this is where basically most of the work gets done. We have the date formatter set up here, and then we convert that to a string. This is where I was telling you the tag for the event view. If it's the original text, we go ahead and override the whole thing with the current event, and then we go ahead and increment that tag. So that way the next time we come in, the tag will no longer be 0, it'll be 1, and we can set up, we're in our custom text, to where we can append a new event to that same thing. And here's the prepare for segue, setting the delegate to itself. Jumping over to this, there's not much in the add event view. We have, again, the keyboard handlers to go ahead and show and hide that. and the view will appear when we call that notification for the keyboard showing and hiding. And then you have the basic date picker functions here, which is just basically capturing that data, casting it to an actual NS date, and then it actually calls, and that's where we set the minimum date. And then I have different button actions set up for cancel to dismiss the view controller, on save. We go ahead and is where we call the delegate and we pass it the current text from the description text view as well as the date from the date picker, and then we close that view controller. And that's it, guys. That was the whole application. I probably could have, that's one thing that I could have done better. I think I just figured that out, is why when you come back it actually pushes it up even further, because I don't reset it outside of when the keyboard hides, so it doesn't reset it to the normal text view when you come back. Other than that, it's been a great week. Look forward to the next week. Take care and have a great night.